What's up everyone, Beeler here again, and today I'm just going to be covering a quick SPY video. It's not going to be anything too long, but just focused on a lot of the content we've been posting inside of the server, so make sure you click that link in the bio, join our chat. If it doesn't work, just comment and I'll definitely DM it to you or send it however. But overall, after this huge gap down move, bearish move down for the new lows, we just created a good low. And since then, we've just kind of had this fib marked between the first major low of that move and to the high of that. So that's just where that's coming from. And then also marking at this time, we had thought this was very, very significant because it was the low of this big hammer of that support before it rallied. But also a good resistance where we ended up slowing down around the gap up. We ended up producing a long-legged doji. We gapped down a little bit more, produced another sandwich, long-legged doji, gapped up. So showing a lot of really big oversold movement price action here. And then they ended up taking the golden pocket, making that high, and that's where we get that fib from. Testing it again for a second major, and then a third major test of that golden pocket. Again, that's just a normal fib range we like to use for retracements, big major retracements on the bigger time frames. We also use them for smaller time frames, but I want to show you also how you can use just smaller time frame levels and this information here to help you out. So as you can see, we end up getting a gap up over the 9, pretty decent volume, not above average volume, but it's still a pretty decent amount of volume. And if we get a pretty good open, if you get any kind of green open going into that next day, it should be considered to run to at least, around this area. And you can see we actually opened up near that area. So kind of cutting those chances a lot lower unless buyers can hold the initial pre-market range and take things higher. So let's zoom on down to the smaller time frames and see what all went down. And before we do, let's jump and see what we said today on the watch list before the market opened. We said green in pre-market, giving buyers a chance at a green open. If you read over the PDF, which we can go over that in a different video, or if you guys want to just join chat, I can show you the PDFs. But this channel is free for the next week, so make sure you click on this, click on some of the PDFs and see some of the info in here. But we have just pulled up to a very key level, just about 390. Watch for a buyer move over the 389.40s and 390s, and for bears, watch for a drop under the pre-market lows, which will cover this level here, and the previous day close. We'll cover that as well. Bigger time frames, keep watch how we react / close around the 390s and the 9 EMAs. We'll go over that info. And then a bunch of levels and stuff. My boy JBake posted really, really good info as well. Good charts you can see. Post a couple updates in here. A lot of our major plays happen in some of the different channels and on the trade floor. Trade floor is very, very active, so make sure you join up and engage with the team there. But let's go over the info. So we have all that bigger time frame price action here, and I'll show you the ugly chart after this, but I just want to go over some of the simple levels. A lot of the major levels we focus on from the previous day's price action, this being today's, is the previous day lows. We like to focus on the previous day open. We really like the previous day high and the previous day close, which I'll just mark both for this example's sake. But overall, you can see they're basically the same level. And then going into the next day, the pre-market, you want to add the pre-market high, which it was very, very close, which is why we said 389.40s. To the 390, and then the pre-market low, which you could zoom in and you could see 23.55. Oh, switches to Monday, and with the lowest we went was about right there in that wick. So I'll just drop it right there. You can add it to the candle body if you want. I'm just doing it for example's sake. And let's review some of today's price action. So you can see going into yesterday, they kind of dipped down to that 380.70s level, which again, just to remind you, is from that hammer. We talked about that at the beginning. But jump back over to yesterday and today's price action. We jumped from there and basically just held up a really good move. Moved a lot up into the after hours. Opened higher, which gives everyone a chance. And you can see we actually opened with a long-legged doji. I want to cover the 30-minute after this. But let's just look at today's price action. So looking at what happened, look at how we... Let me just go down to this. Look at how we reacted to that previous day high, previous day close. So here's our initial range for the day, and this is why I posted the way I posted, because this is a pretty good move, and the fact that we're up against such a significant level, you need to produce a significant amount of volume. So if we don't get past that after some basing, which we did get that, bulls definitely had a chance to base here and take this higher. You can see they failed to, though, on that second try right here. What I mean by basing is you want to get a good low, you want to make sure there's at least a double bottom, any kind of higher low, any kind of, just consecutive touching of the same support, giving buyers a chance to retake that opening price, because that opening price is also going to be a very significant level. This is kind of the only other pivot point you'll ever see me add. But as you can see, that's pretty much where they went on that second push and failed to move higher. So a very significant area, not anywhere random. So, but let's look at how they move down. So we said if they break the pre-market low, this level here, they have a pretty good chance of continuing lower down to the previous day high, previous day close. That would be these two levels right here. So you can see between there, what kind of volume did we get? we end up getting rising volume after we took this level after rejecting the 9 EMA, right? So pretty good rising volume, candle over candle. Very good sign that bears are stepping in or they are accumulating under the 386.65, the desired level. So pre-market low. They end up taking it lower with more rising volume. As you can see, just riding that 9 EMA. A lot of people, one of my friends from back in the day always said ride the 9. This is a perfect example of it. For the rest of the day, they didn't actually get any more candles above the 9 EMA, as you can see. They got one. But overall, as you can see though, between these levels, the volume helped you out. Pretty good amount above average volume. They end up slowing down. Another 3-bar play steps in. Another rise in volume, candle over candle. And what is a 3-bar play? You know, if we're looking at the previous candle, and you just grab a fib, and again, when I say the control point, it's just a fancy way of saying the halfway point. I just want to see what's 50% of this candle, because they end up having about the same low. They reject that. They start from that area again, and then they push a new low with accumulating volume, again showing the strength in the sellers as they push through a significant level. It's not about, you know, there being rising volume by itself. It's not about a level breaking by itself. It's about both of them working together. You want to have those signals kind of line up together. They end up coming back to the previous day high, previous day close, and they do what? What kind of volume steps in here as they approach this level? I don't see any rising volume. I see a pretty good rising volume here, but that makes sense. You know, this candle probably opened here, fought to go up, fought to go down, fought back up, and then closed flat, right? So there's going to be a lot of volume in that when you have that kind of fight happening, and you're going to see that in some of these candles. And we'll cover another video about that, or you can check out the workshop video where JBake covers volume, and it's really good. So check out the workshop videos playlist if you haven't already. But overall, what kind of volume did we get here? As we approach that 9 EMA, as we approach that previous day high, as we approach that previous day close, we had lowering volume, right? And what did we do after we launched back off of it? Rising volume, an accumulating move to make a new low, showing that sellers definitely want to try and take this lower. And then for the rest of the day, they end up cascading it back down. And where do they end up slowing down for the rest of the day? That 382.50 and that 380.75. What are those again? That's that previous day open. And that's that yesterday's low, which also lines up on that bigger time frame, the level we talked about at the very beginning of this video. So pretty cool. Again, just using basic price action to help you out. Another example that I said I'd show you guys at the very end of the video is the TA routine. And this is when you go from the far left of the chart and you just grab the tops of your buyers. As you can see, there's a ton of examples there. I end up highlighting this one green because somebody in chat asked what is this level, so we end up covering it. You see 390.50s. It was just a good level from February 8th, 2021, right? You end up zooming back over onto the smaller time frames, and again, those aren't supposed to help you on the bigger time frames. It's a big amount of levels because what you're trying to do is help you on the smaller time frames. And then you can see we highlight some of those significant smaller time frame levels: the pre-market high, the pre-market low, the previous day close, and so on and so on. You can see the previous day open, previous day low basically lines up with what we just talked about on the other chart, right? And you can see same price info, except I'm being given a lot more information with a lot more levels. So it's just another style of looking at it. So if you want to look at less levels, you can. Please refer to the previous video to learn how to get your levels. But overall, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and if you want more, please leave a thumbs up.